Hello there and welcome back to some more Forza Horizon 4 today. Now we are taking a look at the DLC cars for week number 13 of the Car Pass, aka the cars from the 20th of December 2018. As usual, we got two cars this week and the theme is high performance brand new Chevrolet models. We begin with the new 2019 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, 755 horsepower, 715 foot-pound torque, 3,560 pounds of weight, front-engine rear-wheel drive, S1 class, 895 PI, the most high-performance Corvette ever made. I guess it's the rival to the Viper ACR, even though that car no longer exists. It's the new ZR1. Yeah, instead of previous ZR1s, which seem to have focused a lot on power and sort of left out stuff like handling, along the lines with most American performance cars these days, the ZR1 looks set to not only be very quick in a straight line, but also to handle pretty well. It has all of these aerodynamic bits on it, which should, in theory, make it go around corners a lot better than previous ZR1s have done. I do quite like the C7 Corvette. I think it's a very good looking car. Admittedly, the ZR1 may be not quite as good looking because it has to have all these aero bits and stuff on it to make it go around corners. But as far as sort of evolving the C7, it is quite a drastic change to see. The standard C7 had 450 horsepower, and this one now has 755 horsepower. This is also the swan song to the C7 Corvette that will be getting replaced shortly by the C8, which is of course rumoured to be a mid-engined Corvette, which would be certainly interesting to see. But yeah, I do like the ZR1. I do think it's kind of funny how Chevrolet finally decides to rival the Viper ACR, the amazing Viper ACR, once the Viper ACR has gone away. But nevertheless, that's what they're here to do. I believe this car's also already broken a number of the track records that the Viper ACR had set. I did actually have a little blast in this car before I came to review this video, and I've got to be honest, really not a fan of the way this thing drives. The ACR Viper is a lot nicer. It has a lot more planted of a rear end. But because this car is sort of less understeery than that one is, because this car's a little bit more lively in the rear, I guess people will find it more fun to drive, and as a result it'll probably appeal to more of the Forza community in terms of the way it drives. But for me personally, I would much rather stick with the ACR Viper. That being said, I do like the ZR1, I think it's a very cool car. If it's the swan song to the C7, which has been one of my favourite generations of Corvette, then I think it's a bloody good send-off. Next up, we have the car that sort of is the reason the Corvette is going mid-engined, the 2018 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE. 650 horsepower, 650 foot-pound torque, 3,837 pounds of weight, front-engined, rear-wheel drive, S1 class, 849 PI. Of course, we already have the ZL1 in the game, but this particular version is the 1LE, which is essentially a track-ready pack for this car. It's the downforce package. It's supposed to make this car handle like an absolute dream. And Chevrolet have already proved in the past with Camaros they can make them handle really well. The previous generation ZL1, the 2012, is a car which I drove quite a lot in previous Forza games. Despite being really not a fan of the Camaro, I really don't like Chevrolet Camaros. That car does handle fantastically, and I'm very pleased to report that after the slight disappointment that was the 2017 ZL1, this 1LE is a really, really good car to drive. It is absolutely rock solid, doesn't move around. I really, really like driving this car. Yes, it's very, very ugly. There is no doubting that. But it is an absolutely fantastic car to drive. And as previously mentioned, there's a reason the Corvette's going mid-engine. Because, simply put, why would you buy a Corvette when for several thousands of dollars cheaper you can buy a Camaro, which can get about the same lap times as that car? Now, admittedly, between the ZR1 and the ZL1, yeah, there's obviously going to be a difference in terms of the track times. The ZR1 is probably going to be quicker because it's more powerful, but the Camaro could probably handle 750 horsepower and go quicker than the Corvette. Yes, the Camaro weighs more, but it can go around corners just as well as the Corvette, and a lot of buyers are thinking, why would I buy a Corvette when I could just buy a Camaro? And the 1LE really does write that one home. I have no doubt in my mind, this ZL1 1LE, and I might have to test this out at some point, could wipe the floor of the Z06. It has the same engine as the Z06, 650 horsepower, 650 foot-pound torque. I bet you any money this is quicker than that car is. Yeah, I mean, again, there's a weight difference, obviously. and the Corvette probably does handle a little bit better, but it's only, or the Corvette probably does handle a little bit better in real life, but in game, the ZL1 is a better driving car, or the 1LE I should say, because the ZL1's not particularly great, but the 1LE is a better driving car. And I think, honestly, there's a lot of European sports cars you could put up against this 1LE, and it would seriously probably beat them, because it is a fantastic handling car. The Americans have really figured out how to make a car handle exactly the way I like. And I mean, again, I really don't like Camaros, but this thing is a really good driving car. Really excellent driving car. So there you go. That's the two cars. Two highly anticipated cars, in my opinion, I'd imagine. People have been wanting to see the new ZL1 for a while, and the 1LE is certainly a nice addition. You know, the 1LE did come out several months ago, so maybe it's lost a little bit of its luster compared to if you added it to Forza Motorsport 7 or something. But it is here, it's very nice to see, and it is a fantastic driving car. Yeah, a pretty good week for the Car Pass, if you ask me. So, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.